さあ今夜もショータイムの始まりだ。あまりにもショッキング、あまりにもヘビーな内容のため、日本未公開の危ないドキュメンタリー映画の数々をお届けする未公開映画を見るテレビ。未公開映画プレゼンターは映画評論家の町山智博。かつてはあの映画秘宝を立ち上げた敏腕編集者であり、刺激的なタイトルの著書を次々と世に送り出すコラムニストの顔も持つ。カリフォルニアに暮らし、アメリカのエンターテインメント業界の裏の裏まで精通する超大国の真実を知り尽くした男だ。今週コロニーの後編だ。人間社会にとって最も有益な昆虫と言われるミツバチ。蜂蜜が取れるだけでなく、野菜や果物を実らせる受粉も行う食料生産にはなくてはならない存在だ。特にアメリカでは世界最大の生産量を誇るブルーベリーやアーモンドをはじめ、なんと50種類以上の農産物がミツバチなしでは収穫できないという。ところが近年、そんなミツバチに大異変が起こった。
Within 1 week's time, they were gone. The entire operation, all but a couple hundred hives.
The USDA says more than a third of the nation's bees, almost 27 billion, have disappeared in the last year.
ミツバチの大量失踪。突如襲った怪現象。養蜂家たちはパニックに。そしてミツバチに受粉を頼りきりだった全米の農家は壊滅的なダメージを受けることとなった。この異常事態を専門家は CCD 黄群崩壊症候群と名付け調査に当たったが、原因は不明。しかし養蜂家たちは農薬として使われるネオニコチノイドに疑惑の目を向けた。そしてついに政府も国家的危機と判断、公聴会を開くなど大問題に発展した。
If this colony collapse disorder is allowed to continue, we could be looking at 100% dependency on foreign countries for feeding the American public.
カリフォルニアで養蜂業を営むセッピ一家も CCD の魔の手からは逃れられなかった。
I mean, there's nothing there that's going to pollinate. It's just gone.
収入のほとんどをミツバチにつぎ込み、ようやく生活が安定してきた彼らにとって蜂の失踪は大きな痛手となった。そして今週、コロニーの崩壊とともにセッピ一家も崩壊の危機に。
We're being ripped off. We are being ripped off. They're not being ripped off. We are.
And I just can't stand this.
一方、養蜂家たちは大手農薬メーカーとの直接対決に臨む。
We think that they really want something that will slam dunk this.
We also feel very strongly that we have researched these products and they're safe.
深まる対立。果たして CCD を引き起こしているのは本当にネオニコチノイドなのか。ミツバチをめぐる今世紀最大のミステリー、その謎がついに解明される。松島、町山、未公開映画を見るテレビ。
ただそのネオニコチノイドが入っていたとしても、入っていることでどういうふうに帰巣本能が崩壊するか全然判明されてないし、まあ謎がまだ多い。
4日紹介でした。
松島町山未公開映画を見るテレビ、町山さんよろしくお願いします。
はい、ね、今週もこの格好で。
今週はコロニーの後編ですけれども、CCD ってほんまにそんなに深刻化してたんですね。
はい、CCD はちょっともう一回見せますが、黄群崩壊症候群、コロニーコラプス、ディスオーダーって蜂の巣が崩壊しちゃう、崩壊するっていうのは蜂が帰ってこなくなっちゃった。
家にね。
飛んだっきり帰ってこなくなると。で蜂は必ずどっからでも帰ってこれる本能があるはずだから、どっかおかしくなってると。で最近ちょっと原因が分かりかけてきてるんですよ。
マジで？
それはちょっと後半話します。
分かった。
はい。原因についてですけど、原因はね本当にまだ謎は続いてるんですけども、ネオニコチノイドっていうのの農薬が原因じゃないかって言われてたんですね。っていうのはネオニコチノイドを使ってるところでの被害が多かったんですよ。で植物にそのネオニコチノイドをかけるとそれが花粉に入ってくると。でその花粉をその蜂は食べるんですよね。それで、蜂はそれを食べてるから体内にそのネオニコチノイド入っちゃうと。だからそれが原因じゃないかっていうふうに言われてたんですけれども、ただそのネオニコチノイドが入っていたとしても、入っていることでどういうふうに帰巣本能が崩壊するか全然判明されてないし、 何なんだろうって、遺伝子的なことなのかなとかね、いろんな論争があって、この「コロニー」って映画はある養蜂業者セッピ一家の、どんどんお金がなくなって蜂がいなくなって崩壊していくっていうのをドキュメントしてるんですね。
それでは本邦初公開「コロニー」その後編をご覧ください。
Time and time again, beekeepers will tell me they see something. And if they tell me it's out of the ordinary, I pay attention because they know it's different. There's something wrong here. The CCD thing, when Dave Hackenberg was talking to me, he says, this is something new, something I haven't seen. Dave tells me that, I believe him, you know. When it gets to assigning the cause is where the problem occurs. They may be right, they may be completely wrong. When the bees leave the box, there have been two projections as to what's going on. One is you have sick bees that are flying out of the box, and they get too far away to be able to come home, or they fly out to die. There's also then the statement made that, no, they fly out, some of these chemicals and other things impair the memory, and they don't know how to find their way home. That, to the best that I can see, is completely conjecture.
We tried to look at subtoxic exposures of common pesticides on memory and behavior of honeybees. We did a lot of work actually putting bees through mazes, going in and out of colonies with a lot of false turns, with the notion that any bee that has a central nervous system depressed, they're going to see more wrong turns. We could find no evidence of that whatsoever.
Anybody who has a preconceived agenda, if you are opposed to genetically modified crops, if you're opposed to pesticides or a Bayer Chemical Company, if you don't like cell phones, well, because CCD is unanswered, it's an unknown, you can blame it on your pet peeve.
It's urbanization, it's habitat sprawl, it's pesticides, it's all kinds of things.
It appears to be much simpler than any of those things. It looks like there's a disease going through the bees, and we're just having trouble figuring out what that disease is.
Bees have basically existed and been productive and not necessarily sustained severe and widespread CCD for decades. So I find it hard to believe that a chemical that's been in use for over a decade suddenly magically become the problem to antagonize everything or cause the problems we're seeing.
Pesticides produce very characteristic and identifiable toxic events in bee colonies, and this doesn't match the pesticide profile.
The bees all work together for the common good. They maintain their hive and they keep it clean. Basically, we can compare a hive almost to culture in that way, that when we see culture degenerating and we see more and more garbage, it's just like a beehive going down. It eventually collapses.
We are at a defining moment in our history. Our nation is involved in two wars, and we are going through the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. And although we've heard a lot about Wall Street, those of you on Main Street, I think, have been struggling for a while, and you recognize that this could have an impact on all sectors of the economy. And you're wondering, how's it going to affect me? How's it going to affect my job? How's it going to affect my house? How's it going to affect my retirement savings or my ability to send my children to college? So we have to move swiftly, and we have to move wisely. And I put forward a series of proposals that make sure that we protect taxpayers as we engage in this important rescue effort.
Hello, Neil. This is David Seppi. Doing fine. Hey, I wanted to let you know I talked to Jim and Rusty, and Yeah, they'd like to see the price come down, and we thought, yeah, that's a good idea. So, yeah. Now, how would you feel with a 145? We feel we've got good bees, and that, 145. But, okay, we want you pleased, because we sure need you for next year. I mean, without you guys, we're done. Okay, yeah. Uh-huh. Bye. Oh, boy, that's relief. That's good.
Yeah, that is good.
145, Lance, 145 is okay,
Yeah, did you call Rusty?
No, haven't yet.
Then I would call Jim. Do you need Jim's cell?
This huge economic problem has entered into the scene, so the prices have really come down. But no, we want to really keep these men. They're local. They know us personally. They trust us in our word, and they know we have a good reputation for good, strong hives, So, economically, with our expenditures and what we're bringing in, I think we'll be okay.
Oh, good. You're going in for 145. That's less than you did last year, and inflation makes it worth even less than that. So you're going in for $145.
It's $10 less than last year.
That's crazy. It's crazy. There's no excuse for this.
You can't blame me on it.
Honey, I can't be happy about it.
No, but you remember, you were the one that got me to go for 170.
170 was the right price.
I think Jim was right. There are guys going in right now for $100 or $80,
Those poor guys.
$90.
They're not putting in. They're not spending what you're spending.
I was making it 45 when I first started. I was getting bees for $45 a hive.
Making it. You've never made a living, Lance. You've never made $1. You've always spent more than you make every year. You don't understand making it.
I make money on the business.
No, you don't.
Just because I don't have a fancy truck or in a warehouse doesn't mean I don't make money on the business.
You're not making it because you're not having any money to live on. That means you work all year and you spend more than you make, then you don't make anything.
There's nothing I can do about it, Ma.
You have to be able to be married and provide for your family.
I'm not married, I'm not providing for a family.
That's what you have to be able to do. That's why you're working.
Oh,
if you can't make enough extra to provide for a family, then they might as well get out of the business.
I can't do that because this is what I do.
I understand it. I understand.
And the thing is, this is one of the most important people in Pixley. Jim has known our family for the last 30 years. I mean, he knew Dad before he was married, he knew Mom, and yet Jim said, we will honor our contract. We said we'll pay you $170, we will pay it, but next year we won't come back.
I don't think they have any idea. No, the farmers, the almond farmer, he knows what he does, almond farming, but I don't think he has a clue about the struggle we have to do what we're doing.
It's just that I'm losing astronomical amounts of money just because of that one thing. And these bees were worth $170. I just poured so much money. Yo, I know, and you know how many bees I lost this year? Wowee. This guy's a Christian I'm dealing with. I can't believe it. And I took him my best bees. He said that was an excellent idea.
Right.
I feel like telling these guys, you know what? You need to honor your contracts.
Oh, it's too late. It's too late. Once your dad says 145, you're stuck.
But Dad isn't me.
Yeah, but he's in charge.
Hello, Jim. This is Lance Seppi. How are you doing? I'm doing fine. I was just gonna mention, wanted to tell you something. I talked to some growers, some guys, some beekeepers, and they said there's bees going for 180 and 190 right now. Well, I think, because I'm bringing in bees that are big, I requeen everything. I think that they should go for 165. Do you think that's not wise? I know we're getting all jumped all over, but it's not, otherwise I lose like $10,000 and I can't make it. It's not like it's easy to just lose that kind of money and then just move on and I'm, you know, doing great. It's not like that. You know, I talked to one beekeeper this morning. He said that the growers should honor their contracts. And if I want to, you know, drop it down, you know, a certain amount of money, that's fine. But to just drop it way down there below other beekeepers is not a good idea. I understand the economy's bad. I mean, going down, and I would be willing to go down $5, but my one was $170. Mom, did you know I was on the phone with Jim just now? He said, well, you know, the almond market's really hurting right now, and we don't have money like that. And I'm like, well, okay, you know, 160. I don't know if I mentioned 160, but I kept it up high, 65, 60. I think we made 160. I said 60. But I says, you know, this is really, really hurting. You know.
Yeah.
Where that'll go, I don't know.
Our farming's expensive, but we're not very experienced about this either. If we were, you know, we could do better.
I mean, it's not only affecting honeybees, I mean, it's affecting people, but nobody's got smarts enough to figure that whole thing out, you know, I guess.
Many people have missed the point. So the problem is not the fear that we're going to lose the honeybee as a pollinator. The problem is we're going to lose the beekeepers that move the honeybee, because the honeybee is no good as a pollinator unless somebody moves it to the crop. If we can't make money keeping bees, we can't keep doing it. And if we don't keep doing it, then the farmers are just out of luck.
My own situation, I don't anticipate any of my children to do what I do. You know, my oldest son right now is driving a truck with me, but he's not really a beekeeper, and he's a truck driver. And if something happens with the bees, he can find something else to do. He's young enough to do that. But I don't really see any of my children, you know, doing what I do, because that's okay with me. It's hard, and it works for me, but I'm not sure that I would necessarily push somebody else into this. I mean, nature is very cruel. If you're not oriented towards survival, then you don't make it.
Okay. I think the base of the argument just started with sort of a coincidental occurrence. In the 90s, it came up in France. There was a so-called mad bee disease. We had allegations that it was caused by gaucho, is the product name. We did research in both cases. We worked with the local governments. The research didn't show any link, and we're very confident there was no link, or is no link.
Bayer Crop Science, a leading manufacturer of neonicotinoids, denies that the pesticide is responsible for colony collapse, and it cites studies which support that conclusion.
The current situation, it's very much the same. There's losses, and some of the beekeepers have suggested that maybe it's the use of some of these systemic insecticides that are weakening the bees. We have lots of research that doesn't show that. Actually, there's research now out of Penn State where they've sampled pesticide residues, and they don't show any correlation with these products and whether the colonies are collapsing. So there's no link that's been shown up by these independent researchers as well. The chemicals we're talking about, the neonicotinoid chemicals that you can use systemically, they probably have set new safety standards in the area of human safety. We know if we spray these products, we can harm honeybees, and it says so right on the label. We also know if we put the product on the seed or into the soil, the levels that the honeybees will be exposed to are levels that they can tolerate. And then ultimately, it does come down to the person that's applying the product, the farmer or the professional applicator, to understand the label and to follow the label. The reality is society needs both healthy pollinators, healthy managed pollinators, healthy honeybees, and it needs good crop protection. It comes with the territory to a certain extent when you produce an insecticide that people will be concerned about its safety. But I also think that we provide tremendous benefits that society needs to appreciate.
Now let's look at for a few minutes this morning as we would expound upon the book of Galatians, chapter 5. And as we begin then in verse 1, Paul says, "Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage." Paul's admonishment to the Galatian church is, don't be desirous of vainglory. Don't be trying to establish yourself and build yourself up. But when we work together as a unit, I tell you what, good things happen. There's an old saying, is there's no telling what a God can do through a people if they don't care who gets the glory. Right? And that's what we saw exemplified there.
Standards of right and wrong, and that what standards we do have are largely artificial, unrealistic, and unworkable. In other words, it is assumed that there is no behavior pattern designed to meet the special needs of man. And so man is free to develop his own standards or even borrow a behavior pattern from the animals. But is it true that man has been left without a standard of behavior? History clearly indicates that every civilized society has been based on certain moral and ethical principles which are contained in the Ten Commandments. Now, many people laugh today when the Ten Commandments are mentioned. They seem to feel that they're outmoded, that they're not relevant to the needs of modern society. But is this true?
Oh, this is a zoo of a year. It was a wrong decision, but look, I make mistakes. I fight myself. You'd be amazed. When you run business, you just kick yourself a lot. You work so much and you pour so much into it, and then the price just goes down, and it affects everybody.
Father, thank you so much for this day and this month, and thank you for this opportunity and this difficulty. I pray that you would give Lance wisdom beyond himself in dealing with it, that you would give him a business education this year.
We ask that this collapsing and declining economy doesn't destroy the bee industry and take us with it. That somehow we can survive and prosper in the midst of the storm. We ask now in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay.
They're right here.
What's right here?
That's Jim. They're all in that truck, though. Okay, Dad.
You know, we kind of thought we had a deal, and then there's no deal. And then I started calling. These guys started calling around to see where prices were at, and they're dropping. They're dropping every day. We want to be fair with you guys. You know, we'd like to use you, but it's a supply and demand type issue.
We was actually thinking 150 would be, you know, that's more than anybody else we've talked to around.
I don't think there's any question in any of our minds that they're quality bees. It's just nobody's even paying 150, you know, and
we gave 150 last year, and everybody else I talked to was 135. You know, the same as they are this year.
But the original contract was 170, and that's what we all agreed to.
Another contract. I think, you know, and I don't want it to sound wrong or anything, but I don't think any of us will be back for more business if we pay 170 this year. We'll be done.
If we drop our price, you know, we can't run our business.
What do you say? So 165 does not sound like a good deal. They're excellent bees, and they're gonna do a whale of a job. And I really think, and because I mean, if we go any lower, I mean, like I know when we faced with 145, I just felt like I was just, I mean, like brother, you know,
I felt like closing my doors. Can't close your doors just because that happens. You got to pick up and keep going.
That's right.
Farming and agriculture is about business, you know.
I think. This is a hard call. I mean, can you guys all agree to 160?
160. Oh, so mouthy. Oh, this is sick. So sick. This is wrong. You have a contract for 170. You know, here you guys are. You have an agreement.
Brother, listen.
You're all breaking your agreement.
Brother, listen. That's not true at all. That is not true. Brother, listen. Don't worry. Okay.
Even a broker did better than
Listen. Please don't give that. Okay.
There's not going to be satisfaction out of it on either end. We want to do the right thing, but we have to survive, just like you have to survive.
I'll pay the 160, but like I said, next year, we'll look at it to be anywhere close to that. Be ready.
この後、契約先農家から突きつけられた一方的な値下げ要求に、雪引女王蜂の怒りが爆発。
They don't care. Of course not. They don't understand that. We're not making a dime.
This goes to the heart of our business.
You know what? You're already losing. If they walk on a contract, they're no good anymore.
と豪華2枚組。
Want to do the right thing, but we have to survive, just like you have to survive.
I'll pay the 160, but like I said, next year, we'll look at it to be anywhere close to that. Be ready.
Yeah. Well, let's hear that.
You guys need to be forced to sit down and do the bookkeeping and see the cost of this.
I told these guys the cost. I told them that.
Care.
I said.
They do not care.
They don't care that your dad and mom are putting in $20,000 every year beyond what you make. They don't care. Of course not. They don't understand that. We're not making a dime. And we're trying to grow a business.
That.
And you're not fighting just for us. You're fighting for your wife and your children. And they can't live with a husband and a father who doesn't fight for them.
These guys are the heart of our business, so we're losing.
We're going to have to go to Mike Logan next year if we're going to survive.
You know what? You're already losing. If they waffle on a contract, they're no good anyway. What are they?
They said they weren't going to sign next year. So it doesn't matter.
We're not going to sign contracts next year.
Then they can just go.
Look, Mom, I actually think that I did well.
I do too. And you held firm at it too.
I mean, I could have said, you know what? I'm not going to do anything less than 165. But these guys felt like they were getting ripped off.
Yeah, they feel like they're being ripped off, but they don't.
We're being ripped off. We are being ripped off. They're not being ripped off. We are.
I think what you should do is start a business account and then say, Dad, don't pay any money into our business and just let us run it.
You guys do
And
it
if
all
we drop
yourself.
it, we drop it. And if we do that, then that's the way we need to do it.
I don't want to bail you out anymore.
Because once we do that, then it'll make us dependable.
I really should not have said things I said. I'm sorry.
You did great. I think you did
I
really
shouldn't have
well.
said I will be happy with 160. I should have said no.
I'm not happy. I'm very unhappy about it. It's not like you're stealing from me. You're just saying, keep your word, guys. I keep my word, you keep your word. Done.
Oh, well, I don't want to make stupid decisions.
Bayer has agreed to meet with us. This is going to be the first time the National Honeybee Advisory Board sit down at the table together across from Bayer. There's some apprehension on both sides. Beekeepers aren't sure what Bayer wants out of this whole dialogue, and I think Bayer probably would say the same thing. They're very unclear what the beekeepers want out of this dialogue, but we're hoping to change history. Hi, Dave Mendes. Hi, Bill. Hi, Dave. Good to see you.
Dave.
What we're hoping to do is to have an opportunity to look at the way these products are tested. On the Bayer side, David Fisher is the main contact. He's a toxicologist at Bayer.
There was an issue of how do we establish trust with the beekeeping community, that we're sincere about trying to ensure that their concerns are addressed.
Dave Fisher is trying to represent the company that pays his salary.
We also feel very strongly that we have researched these products and they're safe.
If you've done the work, show it to us, we'd like to see it. So far, that hasn't happened. What I'm saying is we need more data. That's a reasonable thing to ask for, more data.
If it is pesticide and there's a problem there, they don't want to hear about it because this stuff is so good that it kills everything.
The beekeepers that have expressed concerns about the neonicotinoids, sometimes they've talked about a lack of data. But when we sit down and talk to them, everybody says, well, we really don't know. We really don't know. We have some concerns here. And so they're open to, going to wherever this research takes us. Can we design a better test that answers the question?
They make poison. That they recognize that. Their argument is that they're doing it responsibly. We're challenging that.
We're in this for the long term. We're not trying to make a quick buck, sell a product. Over the long term, to be successful, we have to do our part to ensure that agriculture is successful and that our products fit into a sustainable agriculture for the future.
This is the beginning of this dialogue, and I'm sure that the other pesticide manufacturers are all watching this closely to see what transpires. Bayer just happened to put their toe in the water first. It's unacceptable to continue to lose this many hives. It has to be proven one way or another what role that pesticides are playing in this. We don't disagree that we've got issues with viruses, that we've got issues with nosema, that we've got issues with varroa. All of those hive pathogens are real problems, but why has it gotten worse now? A third of the bees in this country are dying, and nobody can explain it. It's quick, it's jumpy. I'm gonna have to get used to this. To me, that's jumpy, it's so quick.
The trailer is slow to hear up.
Oh, is it? It's rolling. That is a monster. Man, you probably pushed the truck out with that thing. We think that they really want something that will slam dunk this, that will stop disputing these products. They believe that the products are safe, we don't. What is it going to take for us to do? What data do we need to collect? How do we need to structure this stuff so that at the end of it, when the data is collected, you'll believe it?
I mean, I guess we threw enough questions at them to know that they're being sincere. We some of us angled questions at them that, to see what their sincerity really was,
Towards the end of the day, the prospects came out that, look, we have some money to spend on this. We want to put something together. And that was received very well on our side because, are we, you know, what are we doing here? Is anything positive or solid going to come out of this? But they said we have some money to spend and we're trying to put something together here.
That's Jim?
Yeah.
Wow, he's got 3 trucks. Good grief. No, that's probably Jim right there.
Oh, yeah.
How's it going?
Good. Come on in. Wanted to talk to you guys a little bit.
Yes.
Are you okay with this? No, I want to know. You know, I want to know how you're feeling.
Well, I just say I've had a really it's I don't want to say I've had hell to pay because of it, but I've gone through a lot, and I'm sorry. I just it's been tough, but it's the price that you said we'd do. So.
Well, like I said, I think everybody. If you guys say it's 170 period, that's what everybody would pay.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I'm concerned, I would rather pay it than have hard feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Friendship is worth way more.
That's right.
Than that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm concerned. I'm concerned for your mom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned that she's very upset.
最高賞に臨んだ切腹家の働き蜂兄弟。しかし再び女王蜂の怒りが爆発。この一家、本当に大丈夫か?
It's not your fault that these guys gang up on you and push you around.
Man, I just can't stand this.
お見積もりはソニー損保で。
I want to say I've had hell to pay because of it, but I've gone through a lot, and I'm sorry. I just it's been tough, but it's the price that you said we'd do. So.
Well, like I said, I think everybody. If you guys say it's 170 period, that's what everybody would pay.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I'm concerned, I would rather pay it than have hard feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Friendship is worth way more.
That's right.
Than that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm concerned. I'm concerned for your mom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned that she's very upset. And so, but I don't want any hard feelings. I want to be open and honest about it. And I want you to tell us exactly how you guys feel. I mean, if there's anything to be said, I don't want any hard feelings.
160's fine.
Okay.
I don't know what to say. I really don't. I just don't know what to say. You know, I'm just. I'm just disgusted.
Why don't you just say it? All you have to do is say it. You're right there. It's not your fault that these guys gang up on you and push you around.
Look, Mom.
You know,
he said.
They know what they're doing.
But
But you have to be strong enough to say they have wronged us. They can make it right. And I would respect that.
Do you want to pay the 165? He will pay it.
Lance, you have to stand up to him. It's not my job. I was wrong to walk out there and get mad at those guys. It's your job. And I have to let you do it.
Man, Man, I just can't stand this.
You know, the more you learn about bees, the more you realize we don't know. There's a wide world of knowledge to pursue. That's part of the beauty of honeybees, is this collective brain that the colony has, even though any individual bee isn't doing much thinking and doesn't really have any idea what very much of anybody else is doing. So how do they get these large-scale combs all built so perfectly with everything stored in the right place? When they look at that, they see these little tiny feedback loops where all you need to know is what's right next to you. And if enough bees are constantly doing that, you get this superstructure that no bee has ever seen all together. But to you, it looks like it's just like the whole colony is thinking as a brain.
Well, I'm concerned about the future because, of course, what we really care about is a young man needs to be able to provide for a family. And if the economy is really in bad straits, I'm really wondering how he's going to be able to afford to buy a home, to buy land, you know, to keep going. But I know that he will, you know.
In a sense, I think CCD did us a favor. I think CCD woke up the beekeepers, and I think CCD woke up the researchers, that we weren't doing a very good job. There is no agreement at all, and there still is no agreement as what's causing CCD. I'm not an alarmist in the sense that I don't expect to go to the grocery store and not see food on the shelf, but I do expect the price of food to go up. I expect the quality of food to go down, and I suspect we're going to have to go farther and farther to find our food if we don't do something about this, and it's not just here.
I think it was probably when we were pregnant with the second one, we were expecting the second one, that we came to that conclusion that we should have all the children God would give us. And that made us distinctively different than everyone around us. And that's what I would hope for all of my children. We don't really care that they follow us. We want them to follow the Lord. And that is really spectacular, to see your children walking in the truth and growing, because our children grow. They're on our shoulders. They can see much further than we can see, and we're just laying a foundation for them, and they will do far greater things than we have done. So that's exciting.
So let's go to Joshua chapter 2. And this is exciting. As Christians, we have nothing to fear, except fear itself. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power and of love.
Beekeepers are an interesting bunch of people. You know, we take a lot of hard knocks and keep right on going. I mean, you got to be that to be out here doing what we're doing, you know, chasing this bloom around the country, you know, and stand here in California in almonds right now, and next week, 10 days from now, these bees will be back in Florida working the orange blossoms, and another month goes by, they'll be in apples and up the East Coast, and blueberries in Maine in 2 months. And I mean, it just, it's a way of life.
I'm not sure of this. I mean, I've got a great story that these systemics are the root of our problem. I could be completely wrong. Do beekeepers want to be involved in this? No. This is big.
If the only thing that comes out of this is we save the next generation of beekeepers, you know, so I love it.
Hi. お母さん怖かったね。
怖かった。これ見ててわかるんですけど、セッピ一家っていう養蜂家一家は、あれキリスト教原理主義の人たちなんですよ。で、はっきり言ってないけど、聖書の教え通りに生きようとか言ってんのずっと。家もさ、自分たちで作った家で、それで家族全員何世代もが同時に住んで、で蜂を貸して暮らすっていうやり方をしてるじゃないですか。で、中で蜂は素晴らしいというふうに言うのね、息子たちは。どうしてかというと、蜂は自分というものがない。ね、そのコロニーのために、巣のためにその全てを捧げ尽くすんだって言ってるけど、どういうことかっていうと、あの家族は蜂のように生きたいんですよ。自分というものを捨てて地道に生きようって言ってて、蜂のように生きたいって思ってるから女王蜂みたいになっちゃったの、お母さんが。
うまいことできてるな。
これ偶然だと思うんですけど、あの家族が蜂のメタファーになってるんですよ。
へえ、面白い。
そうだからお母さんブリブリブリブリ怒ってて、えばり散らしてて。
だって見た、交渉してる時に窓に近づいて。
そうそう、横で聞いてて。
と怒り出してさ。
そう
怖ーと思って。ね
え。蜂ってそうなんです。蜂は女王蜂が威張ってて、あとは全部それに奉仕する奴隷だから。でそれを尊敬しますとか言ってるから、そういう話なんですよこれ。
正直愕然としたのはね、問題解決になってなかったんやけど。
なってない。崩壊する蜂の量は増えてるから、結構大変だと思うんですよ。
今現在もまだ増えてんの？
現在も増えてます、それ自体は。はい。で地域が広がってる感じなんですよね。はい。でどうしてかっていうと感染するかららしいんだ。
は
あ。それで少しずつ分かってきたっていうのは今のは一種ヒントになってて。
ヒントやね。
もし農薬が原因だったら感染したり広がったりすることは考えられないわけですよ。
ね、同時に。
広がるってことはやっぱり感染症だってことですよね。それで最近ね、分かってきたのが2010年10月に発表されたんですけど、ニューヨーク・タイムズに出た記事なんですけども、アメリカ軍と、モンタナ大学っていう大学の研究グループが共同で研究してですね、これ国家的な事態だと、アメリカにとっては。研究発表がなされて、蜂がおかしくなる犯人は分かったっていうことを発表したんですよ。
何ですか？気になる。
どういうことをしたかっていうとですね、死んでった蜂たちを拾ったんですよ。今さ DNA っていう生物のデータっていうものは全部読み取れるから、それを全部読み取ってったの。死んだ蜂 CCD で死んだ蜂を全部読み取って、で一致するところがあればそれが原因だって犯人だって分かるわけですよ。つまり何かばい菌が入ってたらその DNA が入ってるわけですよ、蜂の下に。そしたら2つ見つかったんですよ。全ての CCD で行方不明になって死んだ蜂の体からある種のカビとある種のウイルスが発見されて、これは 100% 全部そうだったんです。
カビとウイルス。
カビとウイルス1個だけ入ってるのは CCD にならないんです。カビだけ入っててもウイルスだけに感染しててもならないんです。両方が入ると基礎本能が壊れちゃうらしいんですよ。それが分かったんです。ついこの間。
じゃああともうちょっとや。
もうちょっとなの。ただどうして壊れるか、どうしてそのカビに感染するか、どうしてそのウイルスに感染するかとかはまだ分からないんです。
じゃあ原因は分かったけど、なんでそうなったか分からへん限りは蜂ずっとおれへんくなるね。
だからそう犯人は分かったけれども、それを防ぐ方法まではまだ見つからないんですよね。
でも農薬じゃなかったよかったね。
農薬じゃなかったらしいですね。っていうのは一つの箱が帰ってこなくなると空っぽの巣ができるでしょ。そうするとね、他の蜂がそれを乗っ取っちゃうんですって。いいうちがタダで置いてあるから乗っ取っちゃって、乗っ取った蜂もしばらくすると帰ってこなくなる。ってことは映ってる。
いわく付きの家やもん。
そう呪い。
いわく物件や。
呪いじゃないんだね。何かが感染したってことはそれで分かるんですよ。
そうやわ。
ね、感染症だってことはそれで少しずつ分かってきたの。今やっとその段階。
うわかかるねこれは。
まだ大変なんですよ。
だって蜂育てるのに1年かかるって粉の数に増やすのに。
そ
の間だから自分とこは休業ってことやもんね。
蜂はだから子供をいっぱい作って蜂の巣の中に行って、それを分離していって蜂の巣をどんどん増やしていくんですけど、一度に増やすことはできないんですよ。あれ何箱もあったのは何年もかけて少しずつ増やしていったものだから、それがいきなりなくなるともうそれでもう収入パーだけし、すぐに仕事に戻れないんで大変みたいですけどね。
それでは次週お送りしますのはこんな未公開映画です。
次週ザ・ベストワーストムービーの登場だ。1989年アメリカで撮影された映画「トロル2」。田舎町で人間に化けたモンスターが旅行者を襲って食べてしまうというホラームービーだ。しかしこの映画に評論家が下した評価は最低。なぜなら出演者は演技もできない素人同然の俳優たち。演技は下手くそ。映画の内容もさらに演出も脚本もめちゃくちゃ。
It was so bad, and it was so. It's not so bad. It's odd. They suffered quite a heavy blow to the head.
ところが公開から20年後、この映画が全米で大ブームを巻き起こしている。各地で行われた上映会はどこも大盛況。さらにマニアと言われる熱狂的ファンまで続出した。
It is sold out for tonight.
The stars aligned.
Troll 2 is the best movie in the world.
してこの映画の人気はアメリカを飛び出し海外へ。あの「スター・ウォーズ」や「インディ・ジョーンズ」などとともにイギリスの映画賞に招かれた。史上最低の映画が史上最高に変わったのはなぜだ。大晦日、今年の年越しは最高の最低映画で決まりだ。ここで番組からのお知らせだ。ついに未公開映画の DVD 化が決定。ジーザスキャンプ、ザカリーに捧ぐ、ビンラディンを探せの3作品が1月26日に一斉リリースだ。松島町山一押しの名作揃い、買い逃すんじゃねえぞ。
演出も下手くそだし、出てくる俳優たちがみんな本当に演技がひどいんですよ。だから見た人はみんなバカじゃねえのと思ったわけですよ。